Hi, this is Kat with Beadaholique, and in this video I'm going to show you how to set Swarovski crystals in multi-prong Gita jewelry settings. Now many of the settings do have multi-prongs, but what I really want to focus on here in this video is the actual multi-stone pieces that are going to be all part of one setting. So the tricky part with these guys is that sometimes those little prongs kind of butt up against each other. So let me draw your attention all the way up here. I have another example. And these are really beautiful. I love the little floral style here. But these prongs, because they're so close and clustered together there, they're a little hard to separate. So I thought it was worth doing a video just to kind of help you guys out with some of the tips and tricks that I learned while making these earrings. So if you kind of look here, you'll notice from the side version, and I'm hoping you guys can see this, is that you have some of those little prongs that sort of butt up against each other, like I was saying. So when you're looking at it from that angle, you kind of have to separate them. And it's especially difficult with the center one, which is why if you're doing one of these floral designs, I recommend you starting with that one so that you can kind of get those guys out of the way so that they're not butting up with the ones as you work around after that. So start with the center one for these little flower guys. But the little prongs, they kind of sit like this, and I'm going to demonstrate with my hands. They kind of sit where they're just separated a little bit enough. So what you want to do is we're going to be working with our popsicle stick. So we're going to kind of bring our popsicle stick in and sort of bend from this angle because they're going to be really close together. So they won't be totally flush because they do have that natural little curve, but you just kind of got to get your popsicle stick in there and push it to the side. So that's how we're going to do it. So I just kind of wanted to demonstrate in a larger version there because it might be a little difficult to see, but I'm going to walk you through exactly what I'm going to do. So I have picked out 3 of my little stones here that I'm going to go into this little setting. So this particular setting takes stone size 29, 39, and a 12 millimeter Rivoli. Now when you're working with these guys, especially this one in particular, I recommend starting with the smallest stone first. It'll be the easiest to kind of handle because once you get around to the bigger stone, it's a little bit easier to push those prongs in. So we're going to start with the small one there. And I'm actually going to turn this into a necklace, but let's go ahead and start with setting our stones. So the reason we recommend a popsicle stick is that it's not going to hurt that crystal if you slip on it, because we don't want to use pliers or anything metal potentially that will scratch it. So we do have the stone setters, but that's not going to necessarily work for this one, those punches that we have, because you're going to kind of catch the other prongs. So the popsicle stick really is the ideal tool, and it's great because you can get popsicle sticks anywhere, and of course we even sell them here at beadaholique.com. All right, so let's start by setting my little guy in there, and I'm just going to kind of wiggle him in there. This is also why I recommend doing the smallest one first. All right, so I have him set right in there. So all I'm going to do is, and don't worry about fingerprints, you can get those off later. I'm going to start on the outside because it's the easiest prong to kind of get down. So I'm just going to do a little rolling motion over that prong, and it's just going to bend really easily over at the top there. So I just kind of rolled it over and bent that prong in. So now what I want to do is I want to work across from the prong I just bent in. So you can see that this one kind of comes in here, so I can't really get my popsicle stick in the way I was before. So this is where we're going to use that little end tip to kind of bring it up and over the top. Now I'm going to set it down just for stabilization. So now I can just kind of bring it up and over the top and do that same kind of rolling motion just to bend that one in, just like that. All right, so we're going to do the same thing. So again, on the outside, I can kind of come in with the edge. So the popsicle stick has lots of different edges that you can use that is going to be really helpful for this. And bend that down. I'm going to leave it down because it's just, I have the leverage of the table. So hang on, I know my hand's in the way. Hold on just a second. All right, so all I did is I just kind of came in here and just rolled it up and over the top, just with that little side prong there. All right, and last but not least, I'm just going to get this last little one here. And go ahead and feel free to use the table. It really does help stabilize it. And you can see that I'm kind of putting my finger in that big cup there. It just makes it a little bit easier. All right, so I have one stone set, so I'm going to move on to the second one here. And again, this is going to be my stone size 39, and that sets in there really nicely. So again, let's start on the outside here. And if it's easier for you guys to pick it up, pick it up. If not, just go ahead and leave it on the table. And again, working across So we want to kind of crisscross these. You don't want to work your way around. Sometimes your stone will slip out that way. All right. And that one isn't quite as secure as I wanted it, so we're going to go back to the table method. There we go. All right, and again, I know my hand's in the way. I just got to stabilize it. So again, just kind of bringing it up and over and doing that kind of technique. All right, so now we have that same kind of issue here where this is the prong for my 12 millimeter, so this is the one I have to use to prong that. So we're just going to do a nice little rollover technique and get the stone set. And you can just kind of wiggle it around, make sure that stone doesn't sound loose at all. Let's hear. No, nothing. So those are nice and set in there. All right, and last but not least, we're going to set in our 12 millimeter Rivoli in that beautiful fuchsia color. And I love this because you can kind of choose complementary colors and just really, really go for it when you're working with 3 different crystals. All right, so bent that one in. And now I'm going to move across here. And let's see, so this one, I have all the prongs bent down, so I'm just going to kind of come in and gently push that one up and over, just kind of getting it out of the way. There we go. All right, and moving across, bending this side in. Got to use that table. It's your best tool. All right, and I'm just kind of rotating around doing that same technique. Again, I know my hands are in the way, guys. Hold on just a second. And all I'm doing right now is I'm just going to go back over some of those prongs just to make sure they're really, really set there, because I want to make sure that when you look at the piece that you actually see all those little prongs. You'll be able to tell which ones kind of maybe are sticking out a little bit, and we don't want to catch that on any other jewelry or hair or sweaters or anything like that. So you want to make sure that they're all nice and flush, so you can just kind of keep rolling over just to make sure. All right, so we're going to set our popsicle stick aside, and I'm going to show you how to turn this into a really simple necklace. So one of the things I love doing around here is I love taking a finished chain necklace that is just ready to go, and then I just find the midpoint here, and all I need to do is find that little link, come in with my flush cutters, and just sort of cut that chain in half. So now I have 2 ends of my chain. So all I need to do now is I'm going to use a couple little jump rings, and this is a great little tip. In order to get that little flush style, go ahead and use oval jump rings. They're going to be really, really nice, and you're going to see how it kind of looks here. So you don't have that big circle, you just get that really nice little line that's going to happen there. And we're just going to hook that onto one end of our chain and one end of our crystal setting there. So there's one. And we're just going to repeat that on the other side. And all I'm doing is I'm just gently twisting this with a couple pairs of chain nose pliers. And we are going to be all set here in just a second. So I just wanted to do this video so you guys could see just a couple little tips. Just really utilize that popsicle stick. Use all sides of it to really make setting these crystals really nice and easy, because these make wonderful, fun, easy projects. And you can just see that we have all kinds of different styles and varieties and sizes. And when you're shopping at Beadaholique.com, don't worry about what stone size. We have all of that stuff in the descriptions. So if you're curious, like, hey, I'm not quite sure what size crystal that is, we want to make sure that you guys get the right size crystal for the right setting. So be sure to check those description boxes. All right. Thanks for watching. If you guys are new to our YouTube channel here, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And of course, you can get everything you see here over at Beadaholique.com.